Namaskar, I Dr. Abhishek Tiwari from SR Group of Institution Lucknow welcome you all at Exploring Concepts in Physics. In our earlier discussion, we have discussed that interference is of two types on the basis of obtaining the coherent sources. The first one was interference by division of wavefront and the second one was interference by division of amplitude. So today we will discuss the interference by division of amplitude, and in that our concern is for interference in thin film. So first of all we would like to have an idea of what the thin film is. Any film which is having a thickness that is comparable to the order of the wavelength which we are going to use. That means if we can summarize in a sentence, a film is said to be a thin film if its thickness comparable to the order of wavelength of visible light used. Many sorts of examples are there that if suppose we see in our daily life that a soap bubble shows multiple colors when exposed to white light. Whenever small droplets of oil is being sprinkled over the water surface, when light is incident over it, it shows color. So why these phenomena happen is the concern for today's lecture. Here, if we take example, an air film, soap bubbles, surface, thin sheet of mica or glass are also treated as thin film. Thin film of oil on water surface or soap bubbles, when exposed to white light, colors are observed. So why these phenomena happen? These phenomena can be explained on the basis of interference, and that is too in thin films. So I have here drawn a simple diagram in order to explain the interference phenomena in thin film. This interference phenomena is, here we have taken this, suppose A, B, C and D. This A, B, C, D is a medium which is having a uniform thickness T and the refractive index of the medium is mu. Air is surrounded around this medium and this thickness is very much small that it is comparable to the incident light. Suppose we can say that lambda is comparable to T. Now when this condition is satisfied, this medium behaves as a thin film. What happens at that time? If a monochromatic light is made to incident over this interface AB, it is seen that it is partially reflected and partially it is refracted in the medium. So here a single monochromatic light is divided into two. These two rays are having wavelength lambda. So now they are going to satisfy the condition of coherent rays. These two coherent rays, if we trace the path of the second ray, it goes from point S to T and then from T to U. Then again these two travel in a same medium, that is air, along the same line of propagation, and since they are made from a single light ray, they must be having a definite phase relation. The difference of the phase must be constant with respect to the time. So these coherent reflected rays now again move and they superimpose in a medium in order to redistribute the intensities. That means they are going to form an interference pattern. So when we will be obtaining a constructive interference or maximum intensity or bright fringe will be observed. In contrast, when there will be a destructive interference, a dark fringe is obtained or point of minima or minimum intensity occurs. This is the concern of this lecture. So I am going to calculate that what will be the condition over which these reflected rays will meet or form a constructive interference, or what will be the condition when these waves will form a destructive interference pattern. And in our earlier lecture, we have derived that what should be the condition for constructive interference in terms of path difference. I am going to repeat for you that if the path difference between the rays is even multiple of lambda by 2, it will be constructive interference. If the path difference between the reflected rays is odd multiple of lambda by 2, there will be find destructive interference. So let us now to derive conditions in thin film due to reflected light. So interference in thin film due to reflected light. Let us imagine that there is a source O from where a light OS is incident over this interface AB. Now the thin film has property to reflect it partially, and the ray will be refracted in the medium. As per our condition that we have to find here the path difference. So what will be the path difference? Let us calculate from the figure. Here we can see that suppose in a time t, when the first ray moves from point S to V, the second ray travels a path S to T, then T to U. Before point S, both the rays are coming together. They are not having any path difference. After this point U and V, which I have obtained by drawing a perpendicular over this first ray at point V. Now from point V and U, these two rays will move ahead having no path difference. So where the path difference is, if we minutely observe the figure, here in the same time the first ray is covering a distance SV and the second one is moving from point S to T, then from T to U. So from figure, want to know the path difference, let us suppose that it is delta P. It can be written as the path of first ray, that is SV, and the path of second ray, that is S to T, and then from T to U. So this is the path of two rays. If we subtract them, we will be getting the path difference. But since SV is path in air and ST plus TU is path in medium, we cannot subtract like this. So firstly we have to change this path in medium into path in air by multiplying with refractive index of the medium. Now this is the path of second ray and this is the path of first ray. If we subtract these two, we will be getting the path difference. Now let us assume that this is our equation number 1. We are here to find that what will be SV, ST and TU. We can find this by minutely observing this triangle. In triangle SVU, what we are seeing that if this is the normal, this will be the angle I, angle of incidence. Since the angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection, this angle will also be I. The remaining angle here will be 90 minus I, and in this triangle SUV, this is 90 degree obtained by drawing a perpendicular from point V, and this angle will become I. So if we take sin I, what will be sin I? It will be perpendicular upon hypotenuse. What will be the perpendicular in this? the perpendicular will be SV and this SU is hypotenuse. So perpendicular upon hypotenuse, that means SV upon SU. We can simplify it like SV is equal to SU sin I. Now again, if we see in this triangle that we have extended this normal to meet at point X. So we can divide this SU into SX plus XU. So I am putting here SV is equals to SX plus XU. So this is our first work where we have attained that this SV path of the first ray will be Sx plus Xu sin I. Let it be equation number 2. Now if we find Sx and Su and place here, we will be getting the value of Sv. So for that, let us consider this triangle SXT. In triangle SXT, this is angle R, this is angle 90 degree, this XT will be base, SX will be perpendicular and ST will be hypotenuse. So if we take tan theta, tan R is equals to perpendicular upon base. What is perpendicular? Sx. And what is base here in figure? Xt. So if I want to calculate Sx, what it would become? It would become Xt into tan R. What is Xt here? If we observe this figure, Xt is the thickness of the film. So putting the value of Xt from figure, we get Sx is equal to T tan R. So I had here find that what will be Sx. Now what value this Xu is having can be guessed from the figure. Suppose this two triangle SXT and TUX, in this XT is a common, this angle is 90 degree, this is 90 degree because this is the normal to the surface, and now this angle R is equal to this angle. So in any triangle, if there are two angles equal and a base or a side is common, they are congruent, then the corresponding parts, that means Sx and Xu, will be equal. So we can write here that this Sx is equal to T tan R, and in the similar manner Xu will be equal to T tan R. This corresponding part of congruent triangle, we have obtained this Sx is equals to T tan R, then Sx will be Xu because this triangle SXT is congruent to XTU. So this Sx plus Xu becomes 2T tan R. Putting value of these in equation 2, which I have obtained for the path of the first ray, we will be getting Sv is equals to 2T tan R sin I. Now I am going to change this tan R into sin R upon cos R, and for this sin I, we can have from Snell's law that if mu is equals to sin I upon sin R, this sin I can be replaced by mu sin R. So this first path of the ray comes out to be Sv is equals to 2 mu t sin square R upon cos R. Now we will calculate the path of this second ray. For this second ray in triangle STUX, t x, if I take cos r, now this Sx is perpendicular, xt is base and st is hypotenuse. Cos will be cos of r, that is base upon hypotenuse. From figure we can write xt is the base and hypotenuse is st. So st, the path of the second ray in the medium, can be written as xt upon cos r. This xt is the thickness t, so we can write here that t upon cos r. And as we have earlier discussed that this xxt and xut or xtu triangle are congruent, so this st will be equal to tu. Also we can write that this tu path will again be t upon cos r. So if I add up these two paths st plus tu, I will be getting 2t upon cos r. T upon cos r, t upon cos r, this will give us 2t upon cos r. Number 5. So we are having the two values. Let us put in equation number 1. It will become, therefore, delta p is equal to mu t upon cos r minus 2 mu t sin square r upon cos r. Delta p can be written as 2 mu t upon cos r is a common term between these two. So I have taken it a common. Here it comes 1 minus sin square r. Now this 1 minus sin square r is cos square r. So we can write here that the path difference is 2 mu t cos r. This is equation number 6. So by so doing, we have obtained that path difference will be 2 mu t cos r. Again, when light is reflected at a surface which is in a denser medium, it suffers itself a path change of lambda by 2. Path difference as 2 mu t cos r. So the effective path difference will now become 2 mu t cos r minus lambda by 2. Now we can calculate the condition for obtaining constructive interference, bright fringe or maximum intensity. And what was that condition? That was if the path difference is equal to even multiple of lambda by 2. Putting value of this effective path difference which we have calculated, now the condition is here 2 mu t cos r minus lambda by 2 is equals to 2n lambda by 2, or 2 mu t cos r is equals to 2n plus 1 lambda by 2, where n can be anything from 0, 1, 2, 3, so on. So we can write that if the effective path difference is odd multiple, suppose 2n plus minus 1 is an odd multiple of lambda by 2. For instance, we are taking 2n minus 1 as our multiple, odd multiple of lambda by 2. This 2 mu t cos r minus lambda by 2 is equal to 2n minus 1 lambda by 2. This comes out to be 2 mu t cos r is equal to 2n lambda by 2 minus lambda by 2 plus lambda by 2. This minus lambda by 2 and this plus lambda by 2 will be cancelled out. Finally, we are having the condition for destructive interference in this thin film due to reflected light is 2 mu t cos r is equal to 2n lambda by 2. So this two condition clearly explains that what the thickness T is having role. If we change this thickness, this is somehow dependent upon this order. So condition for this interference in thin film for constructive interference is 2 mu t cos r is equals to 2n plus 1 lambda by 2. For destructive interference, it is 2 mu t cos r 2n lambda. For transmitted light, I have drawn a figure. Here, this OP is incident over this interface AB. It will be refracted in the medium. At this point S of interface CD, the ray is partially reflected and partially refracted. So, dividing the single ray into this two coherent rays. If we are here to find out what the path difference between the two rays will be, from point O to S they are coming together, and after point U and V they are moving forward along the same direction of propagation and they are in same medium. So these two rays, which are termed as transmitted rays, will superimpose with each other and they will form a pattern. In that pattern, what will be the condition for obtaining bright fringe, for obtaining dark fringe? We are going to calculate. Seeing the figure, we can find the path difference as delta P is equals to the path of the second ray S T and then from T to U. So the path will be ST plus TU and the first one is S to V. So path difference becomes mu times ST plus TU minus SV. In triangle SUV, this angle is angle of incidence and this is angle of emergence. This angle of emergence is equal to angle of incidence. So we can take here this to be I. If this is angle I, this will be 90 minus I and this is 90 degree by construction. So this remaining angle will become I. Taking the sine of this angle I, we are getting SV upon SU. Therefore, we can say that SV is equals to SU sine I. I have taken this SU into two parts, SX plus XU. We have earlier calculated that this Sx and Su being the corresponding part of congruent triangle will be equal and their value was T tan R. Therefore, we can say that Sx plus Xu is equals to 2T tan R. Now Sv becomes, on putting this value, 2T tan R sin I. Sin I can be changed into mu sin R and this tan R can be changed into sin R upon cos R. Together it gives SV, the path of first ray, as 2 mu t sin square R upon cos R. Now let us calculate this ST and TU. From figure, this ST is hypotenuse in this triangle and we are having the base plus the perpendicular. So taking cos of angle R in triangle STX, cos R is equal to base, that is xt, upon hypotenuse that is st will become xt, which is having value t, so put it here, xt is equal small t upon this cos r. It is again in turn will be equal to tu, because these two triangles are congruent, therefore it is equal to tu. Now we have got both the values. The first one is SV and the second is ST and TU. So putting in equation number 1, we will be getting our delta P is equal to mu times ST is T upon cos R, TU is T upon cos R minus 2 mu T sin square R upon cos R. Delta P is equal to 2 mu T upon cos R minus 2 mu T sin square R upon cos R. Taking 2 mu T upon cos R as common, delta P is equal to 2 mu T upon cos R 1 minus sin square R. This becomes delta P is equals to 2 mu T upon cos R, and this cos square R, which is in turn delta P is 2 mu T cos R. So the part difference between the transmitted rays comes out to be delta P is equals to 2 mu T cos R. Now as we have observed in reflected light, thus there is a change of path by lambda by 2 whenever the ray is reflected from denser medium and the other was reflecting from rarer medium. But here we are having the transmitted rays, so this case will not be applied here. This delta P is our resultant net path difference between the rays. For condition of constructive and destructive interference, condition for bright fringe in transmitted rays, delta P will be equal to even multiple of lambda by 2. What is delta P? We have calculated it to be 2 mu T cos R is equals to 2n lambda by 2. So this will be the condition for obtaining bright fringe, constructive interference or maximum intensity. Similarly, condition for dark fringe will be delta P is equals to 2n minus 1 lambda by 2, that means odd multiple of lambda by 2, it will become 2 mu T cos, or we can take it 2n plus 1. 2n is an even number where we have added 1, it already has become odd. Suppose if n is an integer, we multiply it with 2, it will become an even number. On adding or subtracting 1, it will become odd. So 2n minus 1 is also odd, 2n plus 1 is also odd. I have taken here delta P is equals to 2n plus 1 lambda by 2. So 2 mu T cos R is equal to 2n plus 1 lambda by 2. Now let us observe these two conditions which we have obtained for bright fringe and dark fringe in transmitted rays, and the two conditions in reflected. The bright fringe is having a condition 2 mu T cos R equal to 2n plus 1 lambda by 2, and the dark fringe is having condition 2 mu t cos r is equals to 2n lambda by 2, which in turn is seen appears to be opposite with the condition of interference pattern bright and dark fringes observed due to transmitted ray. So we can say that the interference pattern by reflected rays is complementary to that of transmitted rays. The pattern formed by this reflected rays is more clear in contrast in comparison to the pattern of interference formed by the transmitted.